10 years in Nigeria, you will possibly have as much co-working spaces you have here as possibly the entire Europe together.
But more important is how we come together to create an entirely new entity, and that's where the wholeness comes from.
Think beyond country, think beyond your borders. Know that anything that you do has a ripple effect and that you can actually make a huge difference.
How people are going to work, going forward. We see that it's becoming more decentralized. So people are working from coffee shops.
Everyone can be anything they want to be. You can be an introvert, but you also are able to turn around to be an extrovert if you work hard at it.
A lot of times when we get up and we talk about this space, co-working, collaboration, building businesses, entrepreneurship and all, and we're talking, a lot of people see us as if we're from another planet, too far gone for you to connect with and all of that, but somewhere in between you and us. I'm just coming from Rwanda, from Kigali, where they had an African Connect, Youth Connect program. And basically youth came from all over Africa, and they came and they spoke, and they stood on the podium and spoke about what they're thinking of, about projects that they're going for, about what is happening on the continent. My greatest pain in what I saw there was that I know that here in Nigeria, we have far more to offer than everyone that I heard of, but we were not represented as I hope that we would be. And so the challenge that I want to leave with us is that we should not go to sleep and think that the rest of the continent is asleep. They're not. They're challenging you, they're challenging your space, they're challenging the leadership qualities that you have, they're challenging your innovation, they're challenging you in terms of technology, they're challenging your entrepreneurial skills, and guess what? They're moving fast. From governments to ICT, to agriculture, to innovations in manufacturing, to all sorts of things. Everybody is awake. Why? Because the continent has suddenly realized, and in time too, that entrepreneurship is the only way that they're going to be able to leapfrog. And using technology, they are able to catch up and move ahead of everyone. But that the talents that they have to do all of this is actually universal. It's all over the place. And all they were seeking and all everybody is seeking are the opportunities that are created to enable them to express themselves and move forward. Every nation that has woken up to this and seen it has given those opportunities. And guess what's happening? The youth are taking it and they're moving with it and they're running. Yesterday, 2 days ago, the head of the UN Women was in Nigeria, or she's still in Nigeria. And so I went to Abuja to sit down and discuss with her as to what we can do when it comes to just helping helping women move forward. And she gave me a story of a Senegalese woman using shea butter, looking for shea butter. And in America, all the cosmetics factories, they use shea butter from Africa for most of their cosmetics. You name them, the biggest ones, pharmaceuticals. And they have a particular category of purity that they need. Okay? And so she came, and everybody thought, shea butter, where is the best place that you would come for shea butter? And so she came to Nigeria, went to Ghana, went everywhere, and every sample that she sent failed the quality test. And why did it fail? It failed because people were not paying attention to little things. Purity, quality, just the little details. She's Senegalese and finally, young girl. And finally she found somewhere in the north, in the most remote parts, one of the remote parts of Senegal, she found where the quality and the purity that they needed, I think it was 7% or 9%. Nigeria had about 7%. She found in this place the quality she needed. Now the story is this. Because there was a market of which many of the things that you are thinking about already have a market, because there was a demand for it and a supply base for it, of which many of the things that you are thinking about already has, what was missing? One, the desire to get up and move from her comfort zone to go to look for what was needed. Too many times, I'm speaking to young people and I'm telling them that you have to get up and move from your comfort zone and move out of Lagos, move out of this comfort and go to the remote places where you will find the supply. Yes, it's difficult. It's tough. It's hard to do. But too many people don't. So they sit down and they just want you to give them a job. No. Sometimes you need to get up. And so she got up and went and found it. Then the second thing that is needed, the pipeline of processing, of sitting down and teaching people, a lot of them uneducated. So, what was the story here? Why was shea butter failing when it went abroad as an export tool? In testing the samples, sometimes they will find feces in the sample. Now you are trying to figure out, how did human feces get into shea butter? And guess what's happening? The women are processing it. A baby by the side needs to be changed. So she goes, changes the baby, and comes back and does what? And just continues. In her mind, she hasn't done anything wrong. She's finished, cleaned her hands, and continued. And so there was a need to educate on gloves, on running water, and all of that. But what was she doing in all of this? As she was educating, she was empowering, and she was lifting up the women into hygiene, into what is necessary, into a value chain, into a supply chain, and began to bring a better way of living, even in the villages where she was getting her products. If I remember right, in the numbers that she told me, if I remember right, within a year of doing that, she was making a profit of $4 million. But what does it take? Getting up, leaving your comfort zone, looking for something that others are not bothered. They are waiting for you to bring it, but you have to go there, collate it, educate people to meet the standard that you know that you have. Follow them through, and then take the process out. Is it easy? No, it's not. Are there challenges with it? Absolutely. But what is the end result? And how do you benefit from it? Are you waiting for the government to give you everything? You wait for a very long time. Are you sitting and complaining that they are not doing these things? Yes, don't. Don't. You don't need it. Eventually that would happen. But for now, what do you need? You need to be able to increase what they call increasing the pie. And the only way that you can increase the pie so that when you divide it, you get more, is that you have to collaborate. You have to sit together. You have to look at areas where you can work together. And so one of the things that we did a couple of months ago, I got the ministry here, Minister of Communications, and all, and I took him to East Africa. And we went to Rwanda, we went to Kenya, and we sat down and we had a discussion there to see how far and what they were doing that we could leverage on. The one thing that you know already is that technology does not know borders. You already know that. The one thing that you know is that as young people with the same mindset, that you can sit in one place, you can create a part or develop a part of a program and it can be used elsewhere. And so I put a challenge across to them then. that there's a huge market called Nigeria. It's huge. And there are people who have a knowledge of this market far beyond anything that they can do. And that you can stretch across continents and jump over borders, jump through countries, over Cameroon, over DRC, jump over Burundi, and land in Rwanda. You don't have to leave the comfort of your home. And you can collaborate on a market and create programs that can be used there, but more importantly, can be used here in different things, whether it be agriculture, medicine, housing, energy, power, the job space, you name it. Nigeria gives you the greatest tool that you can ever have when it comes to guinea pig in any project. I'll give you a last example, just so you know that collaboration does work. The challenges are there, but there is much to do, and we need you to do it. The ADB has a program, and it's a program as to how to raise young farmers who would not have normally the opportunity that is needed to take their ideas out and raise it and bring it forward into the market. Why? Because finance is tough to start with. If you're starting with an idea, nobody is going to help you. And so you need access to finance. I believe your next panel is going to be talking about that, so you need to know how to find finance, but it's tough. And so they have a program where they had set aside $300 million for Nigeria, so that young people with ideas can work on getting their business plan done, handheld through the process, look for technical assistance that will guide them through, bring their ideas to fruition, and then give them funding to go. But for whatever reason that you would always find in Nigeria, it's been difficult to implement. So $800 million was set aside for the whole of the continent. 500 million has gone to every other country. They've accessed it, they've started using it and all of that. But 300 million is stuck somewhere in our process and it's not moving. How many of you need money? How annoying is it that there's money out there somewhere waiting and it cannot be accessed because the process does not allow it? And so where does collaboration come from? We're sitting down, and always remember that opportunities come everywhere. So whenever you go anywhere and you have conversations, always keep your mind open that you never know how that opportunity will start. And so we're just sitting down. We happened to meet by chance in Rwanda, and we're sitting and we're talking, and he tells me about this problem. And then I say to him that if the money is there and the people who need it are there, do we agree? People are there, the money is there. What are we then looking for? We're meant to then find a way to ensure that that money can be released such that it can get to the people. What does that require? With everything, you will find out that apply 90% of your brain into solving the problem. And once you have figured out how to solve it, then 10% of it is effort. But use your intellectual capacity to solve problems. And so we sat down, and I said to him that there must be a way, and we can figure out a way how we can get the money that is available to the people that need it without the bureaucracy of the system. I said, give a few days. I left Burundi, started thinking about it, called someone. Yesterday, we had a meeting. He was in Lagos. So I came back from Abuja, met with him, with this person, and we sat down and we started formulating almost immediately the plan that will release the money. Now, I was asked when I called the person who I knew had the pipeline, the vehicle that would allow that money to be released. And he asked me, he said, is there anything in it for you? What do you want? And I said very simply, all I'm interested in is to ensure that this money that is sitting down locked up somewhere for 1 year can be released to meet the need. To the person I called, because it's his business in finance to work these things out. What is the need for him? He will get paid for it. He will benefit out of it. But he will ensure that because that's his business to release money and get it to people, that he will do it with his heart. What is the need for the people who will get the money eventually? If I wasn't convinced before about it, let's even assume that I was not convinced. I was in IITA on Monday evening. As part of this process, I wanted to understand how to move this money and who are the people that need it. And I was in IITA where they have a program where they bring in young graduates who have never thought before that farming had anything that they wanted to do with, but they brought them in. When I say farming, I mean agribusiness, agricultural business. And they brought them in and trained them, put them through the business plan, and 4 of them came up to give their testimonies on how they had developed their business. 4. Of the 4 that came, 1 came up, and he was from Warri. English, presentation in English is not possible for him. Okay? Presentation in English is not possible. So he spoke in pure Pidgin English, Warri style. That was his delivery. Pure Pidgin English, Warri style. Now, for any of you from the Niger Delta, then you would understand how and what he's saying. But to cut, I'm not going to give his presentation, but of the 4 of them, his presentation was the one that got the most attention. Riveting, but the story was so true and it gave you the understanding as to why it is so important to collaborate. What was his role prior to this? He was one of those that they would call, the leaders will call, they will take him, they will go and break the pipelines, they will picket the places, they will disrupt all sorts of operations. And he said every time that they would call, after they've done all of this, they never get 1/100th of what is paid. So they were just the boys that were being used over and over, whether it's for kidnapping, whether it's for breaking pipelines, to picket whatever and all. Used completely by what they would call, he said, leader go call me. When leader call, we must answer. We will go suffer for inside bush, break pipeline, do all of this. When everything finish, we go burn, we go do everything, we not go get any money. At the end of the day, somebody came and made the presentation to them about an opportunity in agro-business. His mindset was, this work that I'm doing here, that is millions, how? No, he said, my father was a farmer, and I saw the suffer. We in suffer, we no feed. Now they say, make I can't go inside farming, God forbid. But anyway, they brought him to IITA. Long and short of it was that they put him through the process. Then they allowed him to understand, and he went back and started a fish farm. From one fish farm where he began and all. Today, as he was speaking that day, he said in a month he makes 9 million naira. Yes, 9 million. He has 5 of them. He employs people from his community and he's going around. So I asked my staff that were with me straight away that please go and get his contact. I'm going to take him to all those Niger Delta people I've been talking to for a long time who don't want to understand that this is not the way forward. And help him to establish within the communities that I know the same type of business and teach them what to do. Because when he speaks to them, that this is the way forward, they would understand. The power of collaboration. Chevron and IITA put that program together. They came together, they collaborated on it, and they changed their life. From his life, he's been changing other people's lives. I intend to collaborate with him to change more lives. What is your program? I'm done. What is your plan? What are you looking to do? Are you thinking of only yourself, or are you thinking of more than you? As you sit today with your colleagues, as you listen to people, think that you are called for greater than this. You can impact lives, you can change lives, you can do a lot more than this. Think beyond country, think beyond your borders. Know that anything that you do has a ripple effect and that you can actually make a huge difference. Take what you're doing seriously. There's a reason why you're called for this. God bless you.